is with you all. I'm, oh please, oh please. Applause in the back, I'm here for that. Like, I'm so glad that you all are here today to witness, to worship, to be in community. Before we moved to New York, I taught at the school in New York City called the Blue School, which was founded by the Blue Man Group. And I got to be in charge of their theater and their arts department. And while I was there, I got to teach oftentimes with a co-teacher named Mari. And Mari was from Venezuela and was really quite a present person in the room. And kids loved her. Most kids loved her. There's one kid who we had several years in a row who would just do everything that he could to get on Mari's nerves, everything that he could. And one day in kindergarten, he decided to just begin making this sound the entire class. And every time he needed a breath, he would take a big breath in and then he would 45 minutes, okay? We're going in for 45 minutes of this. I turn up the music louder. Maybe we can get everybody else too loud. We can't hear him anymore. And finally, Mari turns to him, and she goes, "If you don't stop making that sound, I'm going to have a heart attack." And he just freezes and is like, "Okay, I will stop." And today is about those moments when our compassion seems to be stretched too far, when we seem to be on the edge of maybe a heart attack if we can't keep it together. So I invite you into a space of curiosity, of thinking about our compassion, of thinking about how far we can, how far we're willing, how far we should stretch ourselves today. That's all undergirded, that's all on top of the foundation of who we are as a community. And so I invite you to say with me our congregational words of affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. That's who we are today. Presenting, Kathy Hartman is joining, and Nathan has a couple special moments in today's service. So we're really grateful for that, and particularly grateful for the choir today, for Ryan, for our Zoom and tech people, and for everyone in this space. Let's begin by turning with a hug, a handshake, a high five. Let's share a greeting with the people around us. Oh, good morning. Group hug. Isn't it fun? You can see everybody out there.
I know, it feels like I'm the king up here.
You are. Straight to your head. That's the move.
to the pulpit. When we say everyone, do we really mean everyone?
Like every single person, no matter how hurting or harmful?
No matter how lonely or loved?
When we say everyone, does it level all the points that we've earned?
And the lives we've touched?
Does it mean yesterday, today, and tomorrow?
May this flame shine
Without judgment or favor.
For each and every one.
Stay standing. Oh, shit.
Today's Time for All Ages is a really beautiful book called The Rabbit Listened by Corey Dorfeld. On the front cover, we see a young person holding onto a rabbit in a really tight hug. One day, Taylor decided to build something. And there we see Taylor holding one block outside of a box, something new, something special. Here Taylor is starting some sort of a block tower, something amazing. Taylor was proud. And there we see a block tower even taller than Taylor. But then, out of nowhere, and here we see some black crows coming and beginning to knock down Taylor's tower. Things came crashing down. And there's Taylor looking awfully sad next to a pile of blocks all over the ground. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking. So the chicken left. Next came the bear. There's the bear walking toward Taylor over the blocks. God, how horrible. I bet you're so angry. Let's shout about it. God, but Taylor didn't feel like shouting. So the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Chop, ta-da! I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant left. One by one they came. The hyena, hee hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, go, let's hide and pretend nothing ever happened. The kangaroo, tisk, tisk, what a mess, let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." And the rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide and to throw everything away and to ruin someone else's. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." And there we see Taylor's vision for a block tower 5, 10 times as big as Taylor is on the page. Let's take a big breath in. Let's let it go. And into this space, I invite us into a moment of meditation. However that feels comfortable in your body. If that means letting your eyes be closed, or maybe looking down. And let's take another big breath in and let it go. And one more, because it feels so good. Take that big breath in and let it go. And here in this place of stillness, I just invite you to think about a part of yourself that needs some compassion today. A part of yourself that needs some love or care. And when you have it, I just invite you to take a hand and to rest it on that part of yourself. Maybe it's your heart, maybe something in your belly or your neck, your knees, or even your hands together. But just let a hand rest with some compassion on that part of you. Feeling what it is to care for yourself for just a moment. And in this place of holding, I'm going to read this poem by James Cruz. My friend and I snickered the first time we heard the meditation teacher, a grown man, call himself Honey, with a hand placed over his heart to illustrate how we too might be more gentle with ourselves and our runaway minds. It's been years since we sat legs twisted on cushions, holding back our laughter, but today I found myself crouched on the floor again, not meditating exactly, just agreeing to be still, saying honey to myself each time I thought about my husband splayed on the couch with aching joints and fever from a tick bite. What if he never gets better? Or considered the threat of more wildfires, the possible collapse of the Gulf Stream. Then I remembered that in a few more minutes, I'd have to climb down the cellar and empty the bucket I placed beneath a leaky pipe that can't be fixed until next week. How long do any of us really have before the body begins to break down and empty its mysteries into the air? Oh, honey, I said, for once, without a trace of irony or a blush of shame. The touch of my own hand on my chest, like that of a stranger, oddly comforting in spite of the facts. And let's take one more big breath in here and let it go. Giving yourself a little bit of that honey, love, that compassion. When you're ready, let your eyes flutter open to come back to this space.
Bulletin board in Carter Hall is an archival newspaper photo from 1987 entitled Fact Finding Dinner. I'm in the picture serving food along with my friends Nancy Kane and Rusty Muller and other volunteers. A number of you asked, what facts were we trying to find in this dinner? At that time, there was no community kitchen, and some of us working in human services felt there was a need for hot meals served regularly. Our primary food, shelter, clothing agency was directed by someone who felt that there were no hungry people locally, and instead they were coming in from other communities, lured by the name Love Land. We set about getting donations of food, dinnerware, a kitchen to work in, a facility to serve from. We publicized a free hot meal on a Saturday to anyone who wanted to come. We took flyers to places where people were camped and asked them to spread the word. We peeled potatoes and carrots during the week and cooked and reheated in the Meals on Wheels kitchen. The meal was served in the Pulliam building, and we fed 160 people, or as the newspaper reported, residents. And to her credit, the agency director showed up to see what was happening. We asked one thing of those in attendance, and that was to give us some personal information and a little of their circumstances, if they felt comfortable doing so. Some of us didn't want to ask anyone for anything, but one reason for the meal was to find out who in our community needed food. We found no one who was reserved about telling us their circumstances. Most were really happy to talk to someone. They told us of a death that caused a significant change in their life, of a medical emergency that drained their savings, of a back injury that kept the main breadwinner from working, of untreated mental illness that caused disarray, of physical disability. They told us they wished they knew how to do better, and it wouldn't take much for them to move forward. Mostly, they wanted someone to hear them, and they wanted to help. And they wanted us to know that they spoke for more than just themselves, that some were too embarrassed to be seen at a free meal, that some couldn't get there. And most were long-time Lovelanders, many characterizing themselves as just down on their luck. We had all the information to demonstrate that there was a need and to recommend action. Services developed over time and continue today. Unfortunately, the need is still great. The facts we found at that meal were people just like us, who had some bad luck or illness or disability or some setback. People just like us who wanted someone to listen to them. People who needed a hand up. And people just like us who wanted a place at the table. May it be so.
This is the point that we hold in our service each week to share our joys and our sorrows, and our job is just to show up like the rabbit for everybody here, and just to listen, whether people are here to shout, or just be quiet, or to stick their head in the sand. We're here to show them that we care, and the way we're going to do that today is by giving them a heartbeat in recognition of their joy or their sorrow. Would like to first invite anyone who's here for the first, second, third time who'd like to say hello to the community. Let's have a hello.
I'm Carla, and I just want to share with everyone a really cool gift that I got a year ago for Mother's Day. It's called Story Worth, and have you heard of it? So once a week I would receive an email from a publishing company prompting me with a question, and I would write about it. And so I just completed this project. So for 52 weeks, I've been writing questions about my life or, random thoughts. It was really cool. I don't think of myself as a writer, but I just completed it. And it opened a lot of doors. It brought communication closer with my family. So it's called Storyworth, and you can check it out at storyworth.com. And it makes a really nice gift.
Thank you. So for the power of memories, of gifts, and connection. Other folks?
I'm Kathy Thurlow, and today is my dad's 100th birthday. He passed away 11 months ago, so it's kind of a hard day for me, but he had such a wonderful long life, and I was blessed to have him as my father.
So in holding you close on this day, and in just reminding you that we're all here to listen.
Hi, I have a couple things. So along the lines of memorial, this is Robin Newbury, by the way, and I love this church. I've been coming here just about 4 or 5 months, and I just love the space you provide. Love the ministers we attract, doctors, no less. I wanted to say something. I was in a memorial yesterday that's on the side of Love, and we held it in the side of Loveland. Bobby Champlin, I'm not sure if any of you knew her, but she passed on. And the place I wanted to mention is the Smith Fiestas Park. I don't know if any of you have been out there post-flood. Incredible place. Whether you're seeing a memory that is past of someone, the place is redone. It's very groomed. You can walk down to the river very easily. The water is rushing by, and you can see all the rejuvenating things happening right now after all this rain. There's so much green. And I'm so proud of our city of Loveland, whatever we do really attract. We attract some money, and they've put in a sculpture out there that is has a feeling a little bit like this church, but it's very small. It looks like rusted recycled barrels. And so they're in a circle, and it's big enough for a small group of people to sit in there. And so as we lose people, I think the city has built this so that we have a place to celebrate them. The statue is called something to the effect of remembering, and sitting in there, you can feel all these little tubes kind of maybe showing you one day with that person, or maybe years and that kind of thing. So I invite everybody to go out there. And I was the one up there cheering when Claire said that thing, because we have him 2 more weeks. And so he has been an incredible gift, and I'm not giving him the mic back yet. There's a book I just finished reading by Jarrett Adams that is called Defending Justice. And he was a gentleman who was accused of a crime he didn't commit, but of course he spent 15 years in jail before people found that out. And one of the things I like about this story is we know people change, and it's not always who you think. And now he is an incredible lawyer, and he does internships and helps lots of people in prison. So I know we're not supposed to talk to Claire officially maybe for a year after he leaves his internship, but I hope we all kind of see signs of each other in this system and happiness and the stories he's been bringing us from inside and outside of prison. So thank you.
So for the joy of being together in a circle.
And so nobody has to break their back and twist. I'll go up front. We all remember the loneliness of COVID, and we were grateful when we could all come together as a family. And over the last 4.5 months, when Alex was gone fixing our house in Florida after getting whacked, Namakwa was my life preserver. And thank you to Kat and Clay for putting together so many amazing events. The women's meeting this week was a heart bubble. Open mic night has been a heart bubble. This community has kept me happy and whole and together. And it has just been a beautiful thing. And I get choked up thinking about these young people and how they're leading us into our joy. And I just feel so grateful that when I come here, I feel like I'm part of something bigger and something better, and it makes me better, and I'm just grateful. Thank you.
So for the magic of heart bubble after heart bubble floating together.
I'm Sherry McTee, and I'm new to the congregation by a few months. And someone said to me, "How long have you been a UU?" And I said, I don't know. I guess for a very long time, I just didn't know what it was. Here I am. I found all of you, and it's such a total heart-filling event every single week. One of my greatest joys is that service itself speaks to every single age, right? Doesn't matter what age you are. And my granddaughter, Avery, said this morning, I can't wait to go to church, Nana. I'm excited. So what she sings and what she sees and what she hears at 9 years old, she will carry in her heart, I'm sure, the rest of her life. And thank you for your friendship. And one of my very dearest friends from Utah, Marlena, is visiting here for a week. And so she's here for the second time. And I'm just so happy to be here. And thank you so much for making this service what it is.
So for the joy of welcoming you home.
You're going to hate me for this. This is Ryan. I'm Katie's boyfriend. This is just a simple joy because sometimes those are the best. We ended up with a bat in our living room. And Katie was the first for the gloves. She had the gloves on, so I wrangled the animals and she was able to run around and catch it. And she loves bats, so she got to hold this little tiny bat just for long enough to get it outside and get it on the tree and have it fly away safely. And it was just a very simple and wonderful joy.
So for the joy of capturing lightning in our hands.
My name's Donna. This is my daughter Taylor, and we just bought stand-up paddle boards on our way over here today. We're super excited.
So for the gift of balance and for the delight of being wet, we.
I'm Karen Roper. I've been here a few times, and I have a wonderful, wonderful joy that I was able to move up here to be with my son Clay. So that's an incredible joy.
So for another welcome home and for the joy of being together.
Hello, you guys. You thought you got rid of me, didn't you? My name is Babel, and I'm here to talk about, of course, the auction. And you ought to see this list I've got of all the neat things that we're going to be auctioning off. We've got, we've got a card shark who's going to have a poker party, and I'm sure he's going to get every dime that we've got. And then we've got a weekend trip up to Crystal Lakes cabin that we can rent out. And of course, Reverend Dana is going to have our topic for presentation here, and she's going to raffle that one off. We've got a person who can actually go in and clean up your computer if you need it, and get rid of all the junk and bugs and everything on it. And of course, we've got a professional painter, and we've got even a trip to the airport. So those are the things that have come in so far. If you've got anything more, please come see me over in the social hall, and we'll write it down for you. And by the way, has anybody seen a yellow one of these somewhere? Should be flying around here someplace. Let me know if you see it. I've got a reward for it. Bye.
Thank you. So for the anticipation of the auction, the joy of community, and the blessing it is to care for each other this way.
Karen Massaro on Zoom says, my joy this week, we adopted a fur baby yesterday.
Shih Tzu. I didn't want to say it wrong. And has already made himself at home. My concern, Ed is 87 and has some health issues that need to be resolved. Please send healing thoughts.
So for growth and new life, and for growth through healing. And one more for the joys and the sorrows that are deep in our hearts. They may be too tender to share out loud today, in holding each other, in sitting and listening even in the silence. I have loved sharing so many stories with you all over the past 2 years of my work with people who are incarcerated. I'm sure you can see how I feel about the work and how deeply it moves me each time I bring it up. And I hope you've gotten a sense of the impact the residents and I have been able to have together. I'm really proud of that. In the numbers, the stories of striving and healing and succeeding far outweigh any others. I'm really proud of that too. But this week I have a different story to share. I can't tell you all the details, but it involves a resident that I've trusted and cared for and worked with closely for almost 6 years. A resident who has been an integral part of projects and visioning. A man who has made so many right choices in really difficult times. A man who told me that he loved me over and over and over again. A man who made a number of deeply painful decisions this week that has caused harm to hundreds of people, myself included. This week, I learned for the first time what it feels like to be betrayed by someone for entirely selfish reasons. And the result of that betrayal is that I may never see this man again. It's felt like a death. It's left me in grief. It's created a pain that's going to take a long time to heal. And it's forced me to examine the edges of my compassion. And a part of me is not proud to admit that because compassion is like my thing. It's one of my highest values. Over the past 12 years of working with people who are incarcerated, I've learned so many lessons that have deepened my understandings of compassion. Like how to shed pretense in order to show up fully for people, or what it means to support and teach and grow with people who I might otherwise radically disagree with, or like the space for love that opens up when we treat each other as human beings, no matter what. But some moments in the human condition are much more difficult to experience than others. The sullen feeling in my stomach, the weight on my heart, and the gauze in my eyes tells me that my body is grieving. It's grief caused by selfish betrayal. It's grief that's caused by loss. It's grief which has opened my awareness to the power of compassion and its limits. Compassion for the resident and the situation, but right now I'm thinking about compassion for myself. Compassion for moments when I'm not sure that there is a place for everyone at my table. The gorgeous rendition of For Everyone Born that we just heard is an aspiration. It's a horizon for us to reach toward. It's not here and now, at least not all the time. There are many alternative verses to the song, but the one that I really love goes, "For just and unjust, a place at the table. Abuser, abused, the need to forgive. In anger and hurt, a mindset of mercy. For just and unjust, a new way to live." This week, I've been intrigued by the phrase, "a mindset of mercy." I've found that having a mindset of mercy is a powerful way to begin regrowing the boundaries of my compassion. Because a mindset is something that I can control. It's an active practice of centering thoughts and ideas in my brain, even when I don't feel them, even when I'm struggling with them. Perhaps a part of growing my compassion, growing to heal that feeling in my belly and in my heart, is to think it into being, to assure myself of my highest values, of the importance of the work that I want to do, of the power I know justice and joy have in creating a more compassionate world. To remind myself that I hold a commitment to the inherent worth and dignity of every being, even when I don't feel it, even when my heart is aching, and even when grief is moving like an ocean inside me, even when I am hurt. I'm learning that I need this commitment in those moments more than any other time. In these moments that insist on setting one more place at the table, one more comfortable chair for someone who doesn't deserve it, one more plate of hot food for someone who threw the last one on the ground, one more place setting for my grief, one more stretch to the edge of compassion before the next time comes along and I have to do it again. As I wrote these words and as I say them now, I know that they're just aspirational. They're guides for the journey. I know they're the horizon of my mind and my heart and myself that no matter what, I'm going to continue moving toward. And for right now, in this moment, that's enough. And I'm learning to be proud of that too. Sometimes it's enough to leave the linens and the beautiful plates in the kitchen. Sometimes it's all right to order in. Tonight, it's pizza and beer at my table. Oh, honey, go ahead and serve yourself. We're using paper plates. But God, I'm glad you're here.
You all may not know it, but Claire does have one fault, and that is that he doesn't believe in announcements. So, couple of things, just a couple of things. You all got the thing this morning, June 4th is his last service. It's here in the sanctuary, lest you thought it was in the park. It's here in the sanctuary. And then after that, we'll go over to my house down the block for a potluck brunch, and all the details are there. And the other thing is, following this meeting, you can go over and get a cup of coffee and a couple of snacks, but then we're having a congregational meeting. We need your votes. We need a quorum in order to vote on bylaws, and we're voting on elected officials too, aren't we? Yeah. So come back after that. And now we will do a post facto chalice extinguishing. Go ahead, Nathan.
For everyone born, a place at the table.
For everyone born, clean water and bread.
A shelter, a place, a safe place for growing.
For everyone born, a star overhead.
The images on the slides today are by this amazing artist named Julie Green. who created a series called Last Supper and another series called First Meal that you saw today. They document the last meals of over 600 people who were executed on death row in the United States. And many more document the first meals that people had in the free world after they were exonerated. The condemned and the betrayed sit together in these images. There is a place at the table for all of us. May we move toward that horizon with a mindset of mercy. May it be so. We take a big breath in and let it go. Let's step into a beautiful week together.
Let's go down, follow Claire.
Sweet man. You are so loved. You know that?
Yeah. You were so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was so bad.
You were great. What are you talking about?
Thank you.
Oh, just
I'm only upset about the announcements.
calling you out.
Oh, I don't care.
I knew you didn't. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're here.